Om Shri Sai Ram. My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of beloved Bhagwan. Dearest Swami, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, welcome to a very, very important and beautiful panel discussion on the topic spiritual practices and self realization. When Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba announced the objective of the Sri Sathya Sai organizations, he said that the sole objective is to teach every member and everybody who comes in contact with the organization the ultimate truth. That ultimate truth is called Nirvana, Enlightenment, realization, different terms, but that is the theme of today's panel discussion. And for that, we have picked the choicest of panel members, a good mix of youngsters, elders, experience, and even as I welcome our distinguished panelists to the dais, you will see what I'm talking about as for the wisdom and experiences that is enshrined in this panel. First is I would like to welcome Dr. Narendranath Reddy, the chairman of the Sri Satsai International Organization. Well, he needs no introduction, but as part of my duty, he is a consultant and a practicing internist endocrinologist in Southern California, USA for more than 40 years. He's been serving in the divine mission with all his tan, man, dhan, body, mind, spirit, everything for nearly 4 decades. 4 generations of his family have been followers of Swami, and they continue to host Swami's center in their home. They've made their home into Swami's home. Second, we have Brother Leonardo Gutter, a psychologist by profession. He has been serving in the Satsai International Organization for over 4 decades again. He has many personal interactions with Swami. He's a member of the Prashanti Council, director of the Satsai World Foundation, and co-chair of the Intellectual Property Committee. He has worked in the entertainment industry over the past 43 years. No wonder each and every of his talk are so entertaining as well as being spiritual. The third, we have I will complete the men's side first. The third, we have a youngster, energetic youngster, Brother Lakshman Mantha, born in India. He studied in the Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar, Vishakhapatnam. He was introduced to the Satsai organization in 2008 in the United States of America, and he confesses that he has been incredibly positively impacted by the young adults movement. He's a graduate of the Sri Satsai International Leadership Program, and he has served as the National YA Coordinator from 2017 to 2015. Then, forming our formidable women's section, we have Sister Aparna Chitturi. Born into Sai family, that is a great blessing she has. Her paternal grandparents have come to Swami in the late 1950s. Her family has been actively involved at the Shivam Mandir in Hyderabad. She served as the service coordinator and center president for Satsai Center of Manhattan. Currently, she is serving as the regional president for Region 2. She works professionally as a management consultant. Next, we have Sister Anu Venkateshwaran. Again, again hailing from a family that has been with Swami since the 1960s. Sister Aparna was 1950s, so she came before. So she has attended and graduated Balvika's classes, and she has graduated from Swami's own university from the Anantapur campus. She works in the telecommunication industry and is actively involved in Sai activities at Atlanta. Currently, she is the Sri Satsai International Organization USA Region 3 Devotional Coordinator. She also teaches Group 4 SSE. And completing the panel, we have Sister Rachna Desai. Yet again, another individual who has been blessed to be born into Swami's fold. She has been born and raised in Southern California, where she attended the SSE in Region 8. She was part of the young adults. She has supported clinic operations for the Sri Sathya Sai Free Medical and Dental Clinic in Southern California. She is currently serving as the Regional Female Young Adult Coordinator for Region 8 and is also an SSE teacher. So that is the wonderful panel we have today. And the format that we'll be following is we will have 5 to 6 minutes of each of our distinguished panelists making their introductory remarks, after which I have lined up a few questions for them based on my interactions with many of you over the past 2 days. After that, the floor is open. You can ask your questions to this panel and make sure that you just open your heart and ask questions, because this is an amazing panel which we may not get very easily. So the theme is sadhana and self realization. I will just share one little personal experience where I felt that my life was stagnating when I was at the Sathya University. Despite having daily darshan and bhajan, I felt that's all is life. No, I should get self realization. And I was inspired by Ramana Maharshi, and I saw his I am that, and I saw his experience where once he experienced what it means to go through death. A rare experience even when he was alive. And after that, that moment of enlightenment came, and I also thought, let me also do this. So every night, as I would lie down on my bed, I would hold my breath, trying to experience the feeling of death. I did this sadhana sincerely for 1 month. My breath holding capacity grew from 50 seconds to 65 seconds, but no enlightenment happened, you know. And that Dasara, Swami begins one of his discourses saying, without sleeping at night, holding breath, people think they will achieve the ultimate. And the other beautiful thing is, Swami had actually not said that. Swami had actually said, without doing any work, panileka in Telugu. But my ears heard it as pankoleka, without sleeping. So I feel that is also Swami's blessing, because in that discourse, Swami outlined saying that for one moment in your heart, if you are able to genuinely believe with all conviction that everybody is divine and everybody is an embodiment of love, then alone can you go towards realization. So that is the easy one line answer, but the very, very difficult life path for realization. So, dear respected panel members, you have a difficult task ahead of you, because sadhana, spiritual practice, is the means, whereas self realization is the goal. I would invite you one by one to make your introductory remarks within 4 to 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Let's begin with Dr. Narendranath Reddy, sir. Yes.
First, I would like to offer my prayerful pranams at the divine lotus feet of our loving Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Dear brothers and sisters, it is a beautiful theme, self-realization. That's the whole purpose of the organization and the whole purpose of human life. But this self-realization, people call it many things. That is why sometimes people get, what is liberation? Liberation is same thing, self-realization. What is nirvana? Nirvana is same as self-realization. Realizing Atman is same as self-realization. Knowing we are Brahman, that is a self-realization. So first we need to know there are many things which are used for the same. That is all self-realization. Finally, knowing who we are. We are the embodiments of divine love. There is another extreme theory in Vedanta called Ajatavada, because you are always self-realized. There is nothing to do about realization. To know that you are already realized is the whole sadhana. The whole process is we think we are not realized. To think we are bound, that is the greatest ignorance. Okay, anyway, coming to the practical things which we are going to discuss in this coming few minutes or an hour or so, that main thing is Swami already has shown the path that we need to tread the path. There are those 4 paths he has shown, which he has described. That's why the Lord's Prayer, I tell people, everyone should know. Yesterday we were talking about our General Assembly meeting. Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to thee. That is Bhakti Yoga, pouring all our love. Love is the source and the path and the goal. Second, Lord, take my hands and let them be work incessantly for thee. That is Karma Yoga, the path of selfless service. And third is, Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with thee. That is the Jnana Yoga, because we are already one with the Lord. And then, Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with thee. That is the Raja Yoga, because the mind is the one which is source for liberation and bondage. So you want to turn the mind towards God. That is where the contemplative life, Raja Yoga, comes. And finally, Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work. That is the integration of all yogas, which is the bhakti, love, selfless service, karma yoga, and the jnana yoga. Then you don't exist because you are one with the God. There is nothing to practice because we have already done that. So we can, each one of us can go to each path or integration of all. Finally, it will lead to the goal. There is the general theme I wanted to touch base on. I know.
Thank you, Doctor. That's so concise, precise, and these are the four paths: path of devotion, path of karma, path of wisdom, and the Raja Yoga, the royal path. Next, I would like to invite Brother Leonardo to share his initial thoughts.
Sairam. Sairam. I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Master. I want to make your life a little more complicated. Swami says that once we know something, we must put it into practice immediately. For me, everything in the spiritual path is a combination of knowledge and the willpower to implement that knowledge. So once we know something, we must put this into action. We must have the willpower to implement it. Yesterday I said that the whole spiritual path, spirituality, is to get rid of bad qualities. I usually say that it's like cleaning a window. When I speak in Latin America, I say that you imagine there is a window here and on the other side is Swami. And Swami tells us, if you see me through the window, you will get self-realization. The problem is that for each one of us, that window, that glass is very dirty. So what we have to do is to clean it. The problem is that we as spiritual aspirants clean the window with one sadhana, and then we go out, we leave, and we put a lot of dirt. One step forward, two steps backwards. And we need to know the art of cleaning it and not putting any dirt on it. So also it's like a treasure hunt to look for self-realization. You know, in a treasure hunt, first you need to know that there is a treasure. You have to believe that there is a treasure. You need to have faith. For example, God exists. God is our reality. We have to have that faith. Second, we need to have the desire to find Him. And third, we need a map, our Guru, his teachings. And last, we need, once we reach the place, to dig deep till we find the treasure. We need perseverance, determination. So in the spiritual path without insight, conviction, and determination, we will not go anywhere. We'll be here 30 lives singing bhajans and speaking about self-realization, and we'll have to be born again. So I would like to tell you some practical methods. I have read many of Swami's books. I have heard him many times. I had the opportunity to be in interviews with him. So I put into writing 45 methods to move forward, to clean the window. I will not tell you the 45, I have no time here. But I want to warn you that Swami says that the whole thing in spirituality is to follow implicitly and immediately his instructions. I would say it in another word. Once we know something that's going to be good for us, we must do it immediately, no procrastination. Delay is a sin, it's a big sin, because we can die in any moment. We are going to die, all of us, but not yet. So once we know something, Swami tells us, do this, we must do it immediately. No delay. The problem is that once we know something, and if we not do it, we are going to get a bad karma. So please forgive me, because you have two options. Once you hear this, which is very simple but very difficult, you have two options. One is to do it immediately. The second is not to do it. If you don't do it, your bad karma will be very heavy, because now you will know. Okay? I request your forgiveness. What I'm going to tell you are very simple, very simple things, but very difficult for us as human beings. The first one, you need to look at Swami's photograph here, his presence, he's filling this whole hall, and tell him, Swami, I promise you that from this moment onwards, I will never get angry again. Never get angry again. Why? Because we know that everything that happens to us is given from him for our best. We are either paying karma, we are going to learn something, and if it's good, we are going to be happy. But we never should get angry again. To get angry is a mistake if we want to realize who we are. Second, we know, as I said yesterday, Swami is everywhere all the time in our hearts. So he's guiding us. He has chosen us as his disciples. He has promised to be our teacher, our guru, till we merge with him. What we need to do is to smile, to be happy. If we are not happy, we are rejecting his promise. We are rejecting him. We tell him, yes, you said yes, but I don't believe you. So be happy. If you are happy, you are on a highway to self-realization. Another thing, stop gossiping. Don't criticize another human being again. This will purify your thoughts, your mind, your heart. This will clean the glass very much, because each time you criticize another human being, you are doing a very wrong thing. You are putting a lot of dirt in that window. Okay? From this moment onwards, never to get angry, never smile all the time, never criticize another human being. And I had 12 points, but I think I have to finish here.
Discussion we can.
In the discussion, I will continue.
Yes.
Sairam.
Thank you, Brother Leonardo. These are just the initial comments. We will have discussion. And on behalf of the audience, I think we are all grateful that you didn't go through all the 45, because when you made us promise three, those three themselves look so difficult to do. But yes, often we postpone this for old age, thinking that once we turn 60, with that, we make the false assumption that we are going to live so long. When Parikshit got to know that he had 7 days to live, he immediately gave up the whole kingdom, everything, and went on this path. We don't even have that luxury. We don't even know if we're going to be for 7 days. So thank you, Brother Leonardo, for that, teaching us how urgent it is. It's not something I can postpone to when I'm wearing dentures. I would now like to request Sister Aparna to share her initial thoughts.
Sairam, I pray to Swami to speak through me and inspire my thoughts. So many beautiful things have been shared already, but one thing that came to mind when I heard this topic about sadhana and self-realization is Swami's words. Swami compares the importance of sadhana to this beautiful analogy. He simplifies everything, right? So he compares our life to a bus that is going at full speed on a rugged road, dirt roads. And when this bus is in motion, there is a lot of dirt stirring up behind the bus. And there's a huge storm of dust. But as long as this bus is in motion, this dirt is always behind the bus. It does not touch the bus. But as soon as the bus comes to a halt, this whole cloud of dirt falls onto the bus. And Swami says that we are also moving forward like the bus, and Maya or delusion is chasing us like that cloud of dirt right behind us. If we don't continue moving forward, then this Maya will envelop us and take control. So it is so important to be on this path of sadhana. It could be any sadhana, but it's important to be consistent, as our elders have mentioned here, that we take up a practice and not give up and keep on that path very diligently. And my favorite path is service, because it just helps me expand. My heart expands each time I serve. And I feel that I'm fully in the present when I'm serving. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not worrying about the future, but I'm experiencing the present in its full beauty. Coming to that, I'm not trying to advertise anything here, but the theme for our region's retreat is living in the present. And it's a beautiful retreat. So if you're free over Memorial Day weekend, it's an opportunity. I'll leave it at that.
When people say somebody needs no introduction, you can be sure it's going to be a long introduction. When people say they're not going to advertise, you can be sure that, but that's a lovely thing. It's not an advertisement at all. It's an invitation to love. Thank you, sister, for telling that not only is it urgent that we pursue this path, but it's also important that we do it diligently with perseverance. Every moment, every day, irrespective of what other things happen in our life. Next, I would like to invite Sister Anu.
Saram, everyone. My pranams to Swami's lotus feet. The topic is sadhana and self-realization, right? Why are we here? Why have we come to Swami? It might have been a cancer that drew you to Swami. It may have been another miracle. It may have been something that you were praying for. You didn't think you were going to get it, but then now you have it. Now you believe in Swami. Maybe he came in a dream. But we are still in Swami's fold for spiritual reasons, right? That's why we are here. That's why we are at this conference. And fundamental thing there is sadhana. And Swami says, he does this pun on words. He says, all of us devotees take this journey through the 4 cars: chamatkar, sanskar, paropakar, and sakshatkar. Sakshatkar being self-realization. So he first draws us with these miracles, with these things that attract us to him. For some, it may be bhajans, different margas. And then he slowly transforms us. Sanskar, he teaches, he refines us with his teachings, with the guiding principles, with the 9-point code of conduct. Paropakar, he shows us the path of service. And when we follow these, it ultimately results in this self-realization. You don't even realize it happens automatically. But this is something you need to practice. You alluded to it as well. There is a reason we say practice medicine. There is a reason we say practice law, right? You practice riding the bike, and then there's a saying, practice makes perfect. And Swami has this beautiful way. His timing is impeccable. So just before I came up on stage, I got a message to lead a bhajan. It wasn't a bhajan I practiced. I just started it at the key that probably the brother ended in. Wasn't a success because I started in the men's key. So practice is perfect. And sometimes you have to make mistakes to realize that. It's better to realize that without making the mistakes. So with these thoughts, I turn it over.
Thank you, sister, for those beautiful 4 cars that you have gifted us. I mean, yes, you brought a notice. Chamatkar, Paropkar,
Chamatkar,
Sanskar, Paropkar, and Sakshatkar. We are often not able to enjoy these 4 cars because we are lost in our own beautiful, what we think is a beautiful car, which is Ahankar. And now I would like to request Brother Lakshman to share his thoughts. Yeah.
Sure, Saram, everyone, and just super grateful to Swami just for this opportunity to be here. And it sure feels like a hot seat, but I'll try be myself. I also want to, convey gratitude to everyone in the organization, to all the young adults, to all the young adult program, the devotees, because my experience with Swami spirituality is based on devotees' experiences. And so I was not born into Sai fold. My parents are still not devotees, but it's a beautiful journey. When the word spiritual, it actually, if you break it down, this is my understanding, is if you break it down, it is spirit plus ritual. So any ritual, any action that we do with the right spirit, with the right intent, becomes spiritual. And that has been my driving force, that my learning from being here. And when I say that, my parents put me in a Swami school in Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar, Vishakhapatnam, not because they knew Swami. It is because of the universal message that came out of the school. It is that human values, and that they have a good ranking, but they also teach good values, and that is why I was put in. I'm so grateful to them for putting me there, and that is my introduction to Swami's fold. But my real introduction was after 2008, when miracle of events, but I got pulled into a Sai center, and that is when my real journey started. I never had, so disclaimer, whatever I'm sharing is my journey based on whatever I lived through in the last 10 years only, nothing before that. But really looking forward to do it. And just on this concept of self realization, uh, I probably even hesitate. The realization has a Z or a S. I always get confused. So I'm not there yet, but I can talk. Swami talked about the path towards self-realization, which is starting with self-confidence, and then self-satisfaction, self-sacrifice, and self-realization. My experience in the last decade has been like just working through the organization, just working through whatever was given, is that foundation of self-confidence. And I'll probably share more about that. More about that, but that's pretty much it. And one spiritual or one practice that I kind of connect to is Swami's quote of bend the body, mend the senses, and the mind, which kind of leads to the self realization. I love running. Who loves running here? Who loves running marathons? 26.2 miles. Yes, cool. So I love running marathons, and to me that is a spiritual journey in itself. Like, that is what I feel. We can all talk about it later on. The point I'm trying to make is, by running marathons, it kind of built a mindset that anything is possible. Anything. Like, there were days when I could just wake up and run a marathon. Or even recently, last December, overnight, from in Bangalore, I was in India. There were two brothers running from Puttaparthi Hospital to Whitefield. I just joined them for overnight run with no sleep. But what is it saying? It is saying anything is possible. So when Swami says you and I are one, when Swami is within us, that AI that we talked about yesterday, it is real. And that anything is possible mindset is what is helping me in this journey. So we'll talk about it more, but that's where I'll stop.
Thank you, Brother Lakshman. There are many beautiful points you made. One that struck me a lot was how you credited the organization. You said that your parents are not yet devotees, but the organization took. It just made me feel that often, I think that, oh, the organization wants me to do this, the organization wants me to do that. I don't realize that subtly I am so dependent on the organization. My sadhana is bhajans. Where is the bhajans coming from? Not from the ether. It is the organization that is giving bhajans. Where is this wonderful confluence of so many beautiful souls? How is it happening? It's because of the organization. So I feel all of us have a two-way relationship with the organization. We give a lot to the organization, definitely, but we should also remember that how much ever we give, we are receiving so much more. We are grateful to Swami for this organization, and we should put in our heart, soul to nourish this organization. Next, I would like to invite Sister Rachna.
Sairam, my most humble pranams at Swami's lotus feet. When I was first asked to join this panel, I was very surprised. I didn't know what wisdom I could add when these are my fellow panelists. And I was thinking about it, and I have a 4-year-old at home, and I simplify things for him all the time. So I think that's what my addition to this panel is today. I'm going to do the preschool level of spirituality for all of you that are at the preschool level with me. I also tell him all the time when he asks me, Mom, why? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do it that way? I say, learn from Mom's mistakes. Mom made this mistake, learn from it. So I'm going to share that as well, a lot of my mistakes, and hope that all of you can learn from some of them. When I was reflecting on this topic, a lot of what I was thinking about has already been shared, so I won't go into that. But one thing I did want to bring up was something that struck me while I was driving over here, actually, while I was thinking about this, is that we think about spiritual practices as steps leading to self-realization. But I actually think self-realization almost needs to happen first on a very basic level, where we realize, as many others had mentioned, that we're here for a purpose. We're living this life for a purpose. And once that self-realization kicks in, that's when it's important to really start the spiritual practices and really cling on to whatever may work for you. It could be chanting God's name. It could be bhajans. It could be service. It could be I'm a mom, like I said, and I'm extremely, extremely busy, but how can I incorporate spiritual practices into my everyday life? Swami, as Dr. Reddy and others have said, has simplified things so well and so beautifully for us. He says that if we just infuse divine love into everything we do, that itself is a spiritual practice. If we are in unison with our thought, mind, and actions, that itself is a spiritual practice. So we often think, oh, I need to set aside 2 hours to do bhajans. I tell my husband all the time, I read 150 pages of Sai Charita today. Does it really mean anything? We get tired sometimes doing these things, or we get caught up in these spiritual practices. But are we moving on to the next level? Are we cognizant of why we're doing these spiritual practices? What are we trying to accomplish from them? And I think just reminding ourselves of that is very important. I found my grad school statement when I was applying to grad school in my closet when I was cleaning out my closet. And I was rereading it with tears in my eyes, thinking, oh my gosh, I had all these amazing things I wanted to do, all these reasons I wanted to go into healthcare. Am I really accomplishing it? We get so caught up in meetings and emails and goals and quarterly goals. Am I doing what I really wanted to do and impacting healthcare? I'm not. So it caused me to take a step back and go and have a talk with my boss and say, how can I really impact healthcare? How can I impact the patients? How can I impact the folks that I'm working with? And I think as we do spiritual practices, that's really important too. Bhajans, everything, it's beautiful and it's great. It's an important part of all of our lives. But sometimes it may be nice to take that step back and say, why am I doing this? And am I really getting what I need out of this? Am I going to, a bhajan and then gossiping afterwards? Am I, doing nam smaran, but I'm thinking about my groceries? So just things like that, I think, are very important. And like I said, learn from my mistakes. So this is something that I'm definitely working on as well, but it's something I wanted to share.
Thank you, Sister Rachna. You have brought up this beautiful point that Swami often says that it's not a solitary path alone. Why should I do seva? I'm a bhajan singer. I mean, these bhajans, they keep singing bhajans. We do seva. No, all the three. Swami would say that karma, bhakti, jnana are like the three wheels of a three-wheeler vehicle, which is quite common in India. That's why Swami used to give Indian examples then. But a three-wheeler vehicle, the three wheels are karma, bhakti, jnana. All three are necessary, without which the vehicle will topple. The only freedom is you can choose what you want as your front wheel, whether you want singing bhajans or seva or jnana. So with that, I think I am grateful to all the panelists for their initial remarks. I have a few questions in my mind which I thought will be suitable for the panelists, so I have framed it like that. But please feel free. I may ask anybody to answer, but if any of you also have any thoughts, please contribute. It's a panel discussion. Just for the sake of some order, I will direct one question to one person each.
Before that, Arvind, I learned so much from these people, each one coming, that she talked about the four formula, chamatkar and samskar, paropkar, sakshatkar. It ends in self-realization. And Lakshman talks self-confidence, self-satisfaction. So this is leading to self-realization. So already you covered, and Rachana was talking about learning from the mistakes and making everything spiritual. That is a self-realization. That is really transformation. That is the wonderful point you made. Actually, there is a beautiful book I will recommend. Actually, there is a Carmelite monk called Brother Lawrence. So he was just a cook in a monastery, and he was a realized soul. He says he was as much in tune with God in the clutter of the kitchen when he serving the fellow monks as he was bending at the altar. So that means always living in the presence of God. That is what Swami says, spiritualize everything. Eating, walking, talking, there is no question of separation, secular and sacred. And as Aparna was talking, it should be continuous process, never stop, because it is walking on a razor's edge spiritual path, continuous walking. So everybody already covered. So I think we all.
But I have one doubt. Ashkar. See, the doubt is, I think all of us would have faced it at some point of the time or other. When we work in our corporate life, we have our quarterly appraisals. There are different ways in which we can measure our own progress. How do we measure our progress on the spiritual path? Like, oh yeah, okay, I'm doing now. That is why I felt that stagnation also. I'm doing seva, I'm doing bhajans, I'm listening satsang now. Now, 2 years back to now, have I progressed? Am I 60%? Is there a way to measure it, uncle?
Yes, Swami himself said, So there is a rain this morning, and somebody says, we will go there, there is no wetness of the ground. Do you believe them? So proof of rain is wetness of the ground. And similarly, proof that we are spiritually growing, Swami said 3 important aspects. One is peace, peace that passeth understanding, as Father Matty is there. Bible talks about, that is why Swami doesn't call it Shanti. Shanti is peace. Prashanti, supreme peace, the peace that is never disturbed, is ultimate peace. That is the one thing. Second thing is the stage of equanimity. Like we are having the beautiful panel. They said, you did a wonderful job. You feel happy. No, you messed it up. You feel sad. It always, whatever, whether praise or blame, success or failure, profit or loss, all the dualities, you have the same blissful attitude which God is. In fact, I asked Swami one time, Swami, you do so much to us in the individual level, family level, at work, so much help. So what can I do? I thought he'll give me a big project in the hospital. Yes, we could do that. But he said, can you do one thing for me? I said, Swami, sure, tell. He says, be happy, be happy, be happy. I said, that is simple. Just be happy, cheerful. Then I realized that is the hardest thing. Be happy always. That means happiness is definition. Everybody knows. Union with God. That means every moment, every second, I should be connected with God in thoughts, words, and deed. When I'm not connected with God, I'm not happy. So second sign of that we are spiritually progressing is have that happiness. So peace, happiness, and equanimity is the measure. And each one of us can self-audit, because whenever situations happen which don't go the way they were, like I put her on spot, Anu, to sing the bhajan, so that at least she realized right away that something was out of tune or something. We are all things that to realize one's mistake, that itself is a progress. A lot of time when you get angry, when you we justify, he did that. To be critical of oneself, how we can progress, that is the important step in spirituality. That is the one. And this is the test. Swami said, peace and happiness.
You want, please, definitely.
I think I was thinking exactly the same thing he said. I would just add one more, to be more loving. So the person who has really advanced is the person who is more loving towards everybody. And that is a very good sign, the wetness of the rain.
This actually triggered in me also a thought that, as was said, how much peaceful I am. When I look at it, 5 years back, I used to get angry. Now also I'm getting angry. So have I not made progress? I feel further 2 measures there: the intensity of anger and duration of anger. Before I would get angry for 2 hours. Now I get angry for 20 minutes. So I progressed. Before, when I get angry, I used to break the piano. Now I break only the vase. So it's a progress. So I think possibly the intensity and duration, quantity and quality of anger, that is another way to measure progress.
Brother,
Thank you.
Can I add something here?
Please.
We talked about how can you measure the progress? How do you know whether you moved forward or not, right? We all have, at work, we have skip level meetings, we have performance management. They pull you in on a one-on-one, they talk to you about how much you've progressed. But in the spiritual path, I feel we all have to do self-inquiry at all time. But I think of it like this is an example that Swami gave. Imagine you're flying, like most of us flew to get here today. If a child is going with a parent, the child cannot be asking, how much further have we come? How much longer? That we do that on a road trip. Once you get on this journey, you just leave it to Swami. You do the best you can. You leave it to Swami. And Swami is the one you should ask and say, Swami, have I progressed? Help me progress. So you have to leave it. There's some level of surrender at that point, which we don't want to do, but you need to let go at some point.
Yeah, that's a good point Anu made. The thing is, you can't go on thinking how much I progress. As the Swami says, you tread the path, you go towards the thing, automatically reach the goal. You should, but do it with clarity, intensity, one-pointedness. That's the whole thing. You do. One of my monks was telling a thing. There was a disciple he had, and he said, when I go there, take care of these plants, put right amount of water, and just by the time. So this guy says, make sure you get the right amount of water for each plant. So every day he used to go there, take the plant up and put the right water, and I can put every day. By the time
Pluck the
they
plants
came,
from the
the
root.
plants were all gone, dead. So he was literally following, so not really using common sense. So we need to say, Swami has shown the path. Let us tread the path, and we'll definitely reach the goal, no doubt about it.
So the one line answer, how do I know I'm spiritually progressing? The day you stop thinking about that, you have progressed.
Yes, right.
Well, Sister Aparna, I wanted to ask you this question because, yeah, this daily worldly life, it is taking up so much time, right? We know you said that it should be a persevered activity and it's an important, urgent activity that should be done. But my daily worldly life takes up so much time. So how do I find time for all this?
That's a great question. That's a question that I have often too. And earlier, Dr. Reddy Uncle actually had mentioned that we should not separate our spiritual and secular life, right? I think that is the key. And Swami actually gave another beautiful, beautiful example. He says, do not think of your spiritual life as sugar and your worldly life as worthless water. If you actually dissolve the sugar in the water, then it becomes sweet. Everything becomes sweet. So I think the key is spiritualizing everything that we do, right? There were so many examples that were shared earlier. When you're running, you could be thinking of God while you're actually doing that activity. And Swami gave several examples himself. While you're cutting vegetables, you can think that you're cutting away all the bad qualities with discrimination. So, any activity that we do, if we can figure out a way to spiritualize that, I think that would help, fix that problem of not having time. I actually had one very transformative experience that, if I might share.
Please.
So, I work in New York City, and when I first moved there, I was very excited because that city is full of life. And, as a youngster, it was an exciting place to be. But when I actually started working there, I would have to get on a train, get down and walk, quite a bit to get to work. And when we get on the train, everybody's kind of pushing you. And, you don't have to actually get off the train. They push you out of the train. So,
It's a very moving experience.
and then when I started walking to work, there are several tall buildings in the city, and people are outside on the sidewalks smoking because the buildings, do not allow you to smoke inside. And I'm very, very allergic to smoke. So when I was walking by, I would get super upset that, I'm starting my day, first thing in the morning, I have like smoke blowing all over my face. And I was thinking, Swami, this is so terrible. Like, I'm being exposed to secondhand smoke every morning. I don't know how to kind of deal with this constantly. And that evening, when I went to the center, we had a study circle about spiritual practices. And there was a young adult brother who shared that every time he encounters an experience that is not pleasant or to his liking, he just says 3 Gayatri mantras. So I adopted that. And, every time I encounter something unpleasant, I say 3 Gayatri mantras. So my whole day actually now is gone.
1008 or 108 now?
Yeah, there is.
Every smoker is 3 Gayatri mantras. Wonderful. So you also highlighted how you heard this in a talk, and it comes back to Brother Leonard. I want to ask you. So since the goal of the organization is self-realization, maybe it would be nice as to quickly give some ways in which the organization can help in this for our journeys, so we are able to integrate our so-called worldly life in such a manner that every day is a progress towards self-realization.
I think, as I said yesterday, the organization is the most wonderful hospital we can ever find. So it all depends on how you use it. For example, in Argentina, when we opened the Sai Center, we bought the house. And as you bought this place, and it's a wonderful opportunity. We started going there every day of the week because we had activities every day of the week. So I started to go there every day. And there was a point when I forgot about the city. I didn't know where I was living. If you ask me what is a restaurant, I said, I have no idea. Because my life was to go to the work, to the site center, and my house. So suddenly the site center became my mind. So this organization is an incredible tool that Swami gave us. It's up to us how we can use it. If we just go once a week and do some service every month, we are not using it properly. We know that this organization was created by Swami, by God, and everything he does is perfect. So he has given us something and he's telling us, are you going to use me or not? So my advice would be go as often as possible. Attend. Don't do it as a part-time that you go to sing bhajans one day and that's it, I fulfill my duty. No. Try to go as often, open the center more days, and participate in more activities. You will see that your mind and heart are purified.
Yeah, I reinforce what Leonardo said. So this is the greatest gift from the avatar of the age, the organization. In the history of mankind, never when Jesus, after they left few centuries later, Buddha, after the organization. So now when the avatar was there during his lifetime, in so many countries, his glory being sung. So we should make best use of it. Swami says should be our breath of our life, the organization. But time is finishing up. We don't have any participation from the audience. Don't you think we should? Otherwise, we won't have any.
Sure. We have about 15, 20 minutes.
Then we continue with your questions. But
I just have one more question because I
Yeah,
found
no. Yeah.
both
Right.
Sister Anu and Lakshman's life experience is amazing, and I just felt it would be amazing for
Yeah,
everyone to
go
hear.
ahead. Yeah,
as
but
to-
we should let people, the audience, know that we are open for questions.
Yes, and most of these questions also, as I said, I've gathered from talking
then
with
good,
people.
Good.
So I'm sure this is burning in somebody's mind or the other. So, Lakshman, I felt it would be amazing if you can just share. You said, right, self-confidence, the amazing thing is this path of self-confidence, self-sacrifice, self-satisfaction leading to self-realization. Lakshman found that in the organization, and I would like you to quickly highlight your journey as to how it played a pivotal role.
Sure. So to me, the more I put in, the more I got back. That was the miracle of the organization and Swamis and actually devotees. And to me, it's like a lab also. It's like I can experiment with something, I fail, I dust off and move on. Try a different experiment. So it's like a fantastic lab that you can try on anything. Just to summarize my journey or my learnings, I had 3 quotes to put it together. The first one that guided my journey was this was in 2011 when we as a YA group we actually wrote a letter to Swami. This is 2011. We said we want to serve the needy beyond food and shelter. So that was the last letter I think from the YAs from Region 7 that Swami took physically, and we kicked off a project of a computer literacy skills at a homeless shelter in April 2011. The challenge we took upon ourselves is by Swami's birthday, November 23rd, 2011, we want to get one person a job. And the interesting part is all these people are into areas like plumbing and warehousing and forklifting, whereas we are all like teachers, lawyers, doctors, engineers. So there is no match directly. But that is the beauty of it. So when Swami says, you take one step, I'll take 99 or 100, it actually became true. Like in spite of Swami's Mahasamadhi or beyond the physical form, things happened. There were so many miracles that happened during that. I'm just trying to paraphrase that. By November 23rd, in fact, November 18th is when one person found a job. And then we made the goal even harder. By next Aradhana day, one person every month. So, and it indeed happened. So the project kind of, to me personally, was my first step towards self-confidence in myself, but more importantly, my faith towards Swami. That was the very first step that it doesn't matter. Swami, physical form, he is always there. His omniscience, that was the proof.
However grand the dream might be, Don't stop in debating. Analysis paralysis, they say. Can it be done? No, just dive into it and you will see Swami support coming. And what I found amazing was they started that let's find one high paying job by birthday. After that, they have found one job every month. That is Swami's grace that comes. He will take the 99 steps, but Swami didn't tell you, sit, I will take 98. No, you take one, then I'll take 99. If you don't take one, I won't take any also. So I think that was what I found inspiring. Now, anything to add, sister? If nothing, then I would like to open it up. We have about 15 minutes. I know we are overshooting, but all of you overshot the snacks. So I think I'm justified here. So 15 minutes, I would like to open up the floor for questions and our panelists will answer.
Half a question and half a comment. Everyone knows that Swami has simplified the Upanishads, the Vedas. Swami himself says that the best city to live in is simplicity. Do you think that...
It was not clear. Can you repeat slowly? Yeah.
Swami says that the best city to live is in simplicity. So do you think the question of spirituality and self-realization, Swami has made it so simple that we are not able to understand, that we are expecting something more complicated? Sairam.
You are 100% right. Swami says spirituality is very simple. So he was telling, holding the handkerchief is very hard. Let go is easy. So the whole thing is we think we have to do this, we have to do that. It is all very complicated. But really, we are to realize that we are already realized that is the whole secret. For that, he has shown the path. In simple answer to that, spirituality is the simplest things. We make it complicated by putting head down, feet up, or different gymnastics and practices. And Swami has shown that. Everybody, you can say, we think very complicated. He has written himself letter. Any devotee who has name of Sai on his lips all the time, he is a Jivan Mukta. That means you are liberated while alive. You don't need to do anything. He didn't say do service. He didn't say you do the self. If somebody wants, soul loves the name of the Sai, which is summary of all names and form, just having the name of Sai on your lips all the time, you are liberated not after you are gone, after death, but while alive. That's Jivan Mukta. So will be liberated. And same thing with service. Swami says the people who do this selfless service, they will be get you. Any path you take, you can be realized. So each one, we need to tread the path which is right to us. So as in answer to that, spirituality is very simple. And actually, this time remember an incident when famous scholar Ram Sharma, he came to Swami. He knows all Vedanta. So he came to Swami and said, Swami, he gave a beautiful talk. Swami told him to talk. And after that, Swami, what do you want? I want liberation. Swami said, when were you bound to be liberated? To think we are bound, that itself is ignorance. He says we are always free, but we are thinking we are bound because we are identifying with the wrong thing, body, mind, intellect. The minute you know you're not this body, mind, intellect, that same second we are liberated. So the whole thing is this getting rid of this misidentification. That is why the beautiful bhajan, remind me, my Lord, remind me who I am. So there is nothing going to happen new. We just, the ignorance, not knowing of thing. The minute you know, you are liberated.
Yeah, please.
I think it's so perfect. I would add something. Our problem is that we have our attention towards the world. So I think the secret is to have our attention towards God. And how can we do it? It's all a problem of the mind. Our mind is our problem. We need two things. One is intensity, the desire and intensity to do it. And the second is the art of controlling the mind. I think one of the methods that I was going to share is we need to learn how not to entertain bad thoughts. Always think positively. And when a bad thought comes to our mind, delete it. Don't pay attention to it. If we learn how not to pay attention to any bad thoughts, then our mind will be very pure. And once it is pure, we'll realize that we are all the time free. We are God.
To let ladies and others give
Please.
input on that.
Any thoughts to add? Yes.
I think one thing that comes to mind for me with the simplicity and the complexity is now we live in a very external world. With social media, with our phones always by our side, we're so far removed from who we really are and what we really feel that it's become more complicated. We have more information than ever. I follow 75 plus Instagram accounts that tell me how to be more spiritual. Am I more spiritual? I don't know. I read comments on these Instagram accounts. I get upset by it. I'm so far removed from what I should be looking at internally and my self-realization internally and my spiritual journey internally. That's why I think we make it more complicated. We live in a very complicated world. Swami's formula and remedy is so simple, but yet we add a lot to it that doesn't need to be there. So I think it's a great point. I think we always need to simplify, and that's probably the easiest path. But we get too caught up in the details, and that can be our worst enemy sometimes.
When you say simplicity, I'm reminded Swami said on one occasion to my seniors, he said, so and such a day, I'm going to come to the university and going to reveal the greatest secret. So everybody was excited, secret. So then Swami was also going into great detail as to, no, these people are not allowed, only students, okay, teachers, visiting faculty, maybe some, it was such a, okay, secret. And everyone is sitting with the bated breath. And Swami said that I know you have all come to learn the secret. Here's the secret. You are not animal. Such an anticlimax. The secret is, I am not animal, I am man. And it was like, Swami. Then the second part of the secret is, I am not man, I am God. Everyone was disappointed. And later, whatever Swami did seemed like damage repair. That's the problem with our minds. We can't accept that it is so simple. No, that is why we want to complicate it. That's the perspective change we need. Swami would say that, we often think of God as a person who is chiseling and making us into beautiful idols of God. Swami would say, no, you're already an idol of God. I'm just chiseling away what that is not you. So I definitely feel it is simple. We complicate it. Thank you for that point, Brother Dinesh. Any other questions? Yes.
You can take the microphone. We can give you in the microphone.
Okay, if I can just say the question. So at profession, when you're doing some things that is considered as excellence, based on that you'll get promotion, but that is not in sync with what Swami is saying, right? Am I right in summarizing it? Yes. So how do you deal with such situations?
Yeah, that is very important. There is essential and non-essential. Swami himself said, essential thing is you cannot compromise the fundamental principles. If achieving excellence in your job there, according to your boss, is compromising the essential principles of truth, right conduct, peace, love, and non-violence, that means it's not the right thing. Excellence in whatever we do, perfection in action. But the second 2 points he said, 3 things whenever you do work. Number 1 is perfection in action. There is a yoga karma kaushala. Second thing is one-pointedness. Whatever we do one-pointedly. Third is to have dedication of the work to God. If something is not good, it's not according to the values, will you give it to Swami? We won't. So if it doesn't satisfy, then all the other things are gone. So you cannot use that. That is the point.
So basically, if it is violating the basic principles of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, then it's time to change your boss. But if it is something like wearing shoes or not, then it's okay. I think that's what. Yeah.
Yes.
If I may just add that the only thing I'd like to add there is inaction also has responsibility.
Yes, right.
It's not always taking an action, but by not saying something, you are saying a lot. So
I remember a beautiful quote I had read somewhere which says, there is no bystander in a dharmic war. If there's a war of dharma versus adharma, not doing anything, you're automatically on the side of adharma. Yes.
I think is the microphone on? Yeah, go ahead.
Sairam.
Oh, sorry.
One question regarding the surrender. At least I used to think, I wanted to comment on it. I used to think when I bow down and also I offer all my actions to Swami, that's the surrender. But one time I heard Swami saying, once you know you and me are the same, That's the true surrender.
Exactly. You said that, you answered that. That is the ultimate surrender, is to realize that you are God. Once, as long as there is duality, you and I are separate, still we are in the process of surrender. So that is why I dedicate my body, my wealth, and my mind to God. They're all His gift. But once you completely given up that I, because that is the one which is obstacle, that means we have surrendered to God. To realize that you are God, then that is ultimate surrender. That is why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi used to say, there is no difference between the Jnana Yoga and the ultimate bhakti. That means you don't exist in both things. In the real bhakti, you don't exist. What all exists is God. In Jnana, you realize you are divine. In both ways, that I is gone. So that is surrender. You answered the question yourself.
And it's a journey, as Swami would say, like Jesus showed us that journey, that path. It starts off by saying, like, I'm a messenger of God. Then I'm the son of God. And finally, I and my Father are one. We have to move from that level where we think that we are working for God to think that, no, God is my Father. I'm the child of God. To finally, it's the same genes, it's the same genetics. So I and my Father are one. So, yes, that is the ultimate surrender.
If I may share something,
Yes, please.
This was a dream that I had a long time ago. It just came to me as I was listening to everybody speak. In that dream, I was intensely praying to Swami to guide me spiritually. And I was in my grandma's house in that dream, and I was sitting on the floor. And I was praying intensely. Swami was sitting in a chair and giving, interviews to people. People were walking up to him. And then everybody left. And then after that, Swami walks over. So I was trying to get up, to take namaskar and, to stand up because he was walking and I was sitting on the floor. Then he said, no, no, no. And then he sat on the floor. And I felt very uncomfortable in that dream that why is Swami sitting on the floor when there's a beautiful throne? And then he picks out a book that was on a bookshelf and gives it to me. So I open that book and I'm confused, to find what he's trying to tell me. Then he takes the book back and he underlines certain words and he gives it back to me. And I look at it and it says, "You are to me." So I was confused again. Then he points that, look in the book. So I see further down, and there was another line that was underlined, and it says, "What God is to God." So basically, he's just saying that there is no difference. It's very hard when you come at it from a mind perspective. We think that we're separate, and we think that he's somebody above, and we are not at that level. But he doesn't see us that way, and pray to Swami to help that we reach that state someday.
His final act that we all witnessed was Swami putting his hands up like this.
Yes.
Right? The Sai in me, the God in me is playing the Sai in you. I think there's a sign right there.
Yeah.
I would like to add something how to achieve the state of surrender. I think that important thing is how can we really surrender to Him? And for me, it's very simple. It's to think not only of the omnipresence of God, He's now here, but what I'm thinking now, what I'm saying now, what I'm feeling now will please Him. And if I really filter everything, if it is going to please Him or not, I will be advanced to the state where everything I will do will be what He would do, what He will feel, what He will really want. So then we will be really one. We will be wearing His glasses. I always say, I will wearing Swami's glasses to see the world, while wearing our glasses. It's my way or His way. Once we learn to really every moment think, He's here, what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, if we are able to tune this, we are advancing to really surrender to Him.
And if I can just add a small thing.
Somebody else's question is raising.
One last question, maybe. Yes.
No, let's sense to think. People who are hungry, Want to go lunch? Please
Okay.
go proceed to the lunch tent.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Question.
Saram. My name is Karan Bali. I am the West Indies Young Adult Coordinator. This is not a question, but it's more of a comment. Certain experiences I've had with this organization. I'm a fairly new devotee, and I come from an island called Dominica. In 2017, Dominica was ravaged by a super hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane. I wasn't a devotee then, but the work that this organization did in Dominica really touched my heart. And I saw packages of food, and I saw Swami's picture, and I saw people posting it on Facebook with Swami's picture. And the work that was done really made me feel there's a lot of good left in this place. And then after the hurricane hit, I was in Beaverton for a few months, and I still wasn't a devotee then. I didn't know much about, I was an atheist for most of my life, I didn't know much about God. But sitting amongst the Beaverton members, seeing the love, the harmony, the respect, the humility, it changed something inside me. I said, I don't know about Swami, I don't know his teachings, I don't know if he's just another guru, but seeing how everyone is behaving, it's different from what I've seen in my life. There's something happening here that is very different, and I really appreciate that. And that kept me coming back in every week to the Sai Center, and then miracles started happening in my life nonstop. Today I am here because of your Swami's miracles and Swami's grace, but every single one of you has played a role by conducting yourself in an amazing, beautiful way. And from an outsider observer point of view, I want to thank this organization, not just for the transformation in my heart. I am here serving because I'm motivated by you all, but also seeing what you all do on the Seva end. It has had a profound change in my heart. And I was someone, I saw so much darkness in my life that I felt that humanity did not deserve the gift of life. Today, I have a complete different point of view, and now I want to serve because of every single one of you. And I'm very thankful for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Mic to the mouth.
Good, it's working. No, it is working. He's talking. Yes,
Jai Sai Ram. I'm also a very, very new devotee. I've lived in Bangalore for over 25 years, and I've not visited Puttaparthi or even Shirdi Sai in Nasik or anywhere. So I'm learning a lot. It's been a great experience. But my one simple question is, and this is a question I've always had, that at the point of realization and beyond, how will I change? How will I as an individual be different if I were to get realization tomorrow?
What are the characteristics with which you can make
What
out
does
to
the
the
panel have
realized
to-
person versus a non-realized
Yeah,
person?
that's right. So what does the panel have to say? How will I be different as an individual?
Okay, so this is very clearly answered by Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. How does the same question what you had, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna? He describes the man who is enlightened, he will be always calm. So then he gives the qualities how a man, enlightened man, behaves, how he talks, how he moves around. So we don't have time to go into details. If you go to chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, which is translated in many, many languages, slokas 54 to 72, where 54, where Arjuna asks the question, and 55 to 72, Lord Krishna describes how an enlightened man behaves, how just being like you take the example of Swami Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, so many souls even now that are realized. So they don't have special horns or their face won't be big, but their nature, the higher qualities, the way they talk, they behave, they radiate peace and joy. I can summarize three. There are about 50, 60 qualities, but I can tell you three. They're the same thing. They maintain that equanimity. Second thing is they have desireless, no selfish desires for them. And third thing is they are atmanyeva atmanatushta. They are content within themselves. They are not. Their joy is not dependent on outside sources. Like we all want to have joy with family, friends, money, power. Their joy is not dependent on outside. within themselves they are blissful. That is the qualities of an enlightened soul in brief. But there are so many qualities you can go and look, and Swami also has described that how the enlightened soul is.
Alternatively, every Thursday you can join in the virtual satsang on Gita Vahini, which Dr. Reddy is also part of. It is amazing. I have personally benefited from it. Thank you, doctor, for giving us the symptoms of self-realization.
Not symptoms, signs.
Signs. Because the doctor I tried to play. Yes. Yes, Father.
Symptoms for doctors.
Yes. There is a.
Thank you. Father was kind enough to raise his hand on our behalf. Father and I come from the same delegation, and I think our experiences here are different from everybody, because certainly for myself, I've never been to a Sai center. I'm not a devotee, and but we're amazed at what we see. We have learned a lot. The simplicity, the genuineness of the message. We admire the incredible spirit of love and service that we have witnessed over the last few days. We thank the Sai International Organization for inviting us to share this experience. We have met amazing people over the last few days. Father and I were consulting. I want to say two things in conclusion. Number one is just a comment that in us now you have the Sai movement and spirituality has got friends in us, and
Thank
through
you.
us to our other constituencies. We represent a large movement of interfaith across faiths in East Africa. So you have friends in us, and we place all our movement resources, human beings, and all other resources at the disposal of Sai organization. Lastly, the last point is Father and I were consulting, and one of the questions we asked ourselves is, coming from an organization that has many people of different faith beliefs, and we see that everything we see here does not in any way conflict in many ways in the various teachings of the faiths, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and all that. So how do you harness people of other faiths to participate in this great spirit and initiative of the Sai movement? Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
the question.
That is wonderful. Thank you to hear these kind of comments. Really, we are very happy to hear. One is somebody new to the Sai movement, how he was touched by seeing the selfless service, and people of different faiths, how they are moved to see. That is what Swami says. His life was his message. He is our teacher, guide, guru, and everything. But now our life should be his message. And we will try to work with you and all the different faiths. Already Rao Samsev Rao Garu in Kenya is working with local groups. So we are looking forward. We are all one family. As Swami says, there is only family and one God omnipresent. So let us work together. Thank you for this nice.
And to answer your question as to how is it that we pull in people from across faiths, it was answered by Dr. Reddy yesterday. Actually, it is because we don't focus so much on the faith as much as we focus on the underlying basic human values, which is truth, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence, which is common across. None of the religion says that this is bad. So we focus on those values, and that is, I think, that is where the bonding comes.
Maybe okay. One more question, and maybe we should.
Yes, one last question, because Vivekananda says, "Don't teach spirituality to a hungry man." So,
Sai Ram, this is not a question, but this is a Swami's grace in action. Couple of incidents that have happened in the last couple of months, his personal experience. I had taken 5 COVID shots, and after the 5th COVID shot, I contracted COVID. And what happened was my temperature went up to 106 degrees. I called on to Swami, and his grace saved me. That was the first incident in January. In February, I was going to work in the morning at 6 a.m., and it was the time when there was lots of rain, very low visibility, and I was on the freeway. The exit that was coming up, I did not want to take it because I wanted to stay on the freeway to go to my destination. So I looked in the car mirror, I looked on the side, and I did not see anybody there. So I started moving my car to the left lane to keep going on the freeway. Within split seconds, an 18-wheeler hit me. And it hit me not once, but 3 times. It hit my front door, it hit my back door behind the driver, and it hit my back wheel. And I called out to Swami. I said, Swami, Swami, Swami. And my car moved away from the truck towards the hard shoulder. Now, the beauty of this was that if the truck had hit me harder on the hard shoulder, there was a wall. I would have banged straight into the wall, and then that would have been the end of it. But with Swami's grace, he came to the rescue again. And I share these moments because I feel that, Swami is present in our life, and we need to see him constantly present in our life to see and experience him in your own personal ways, however you do it. Sai Ram.
When we have God, a hard shoulder becomes a shoulder to lean on.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
With that, dear brothers and sisters, yes, there are many more questions, but that is a beautiful part because in spirituality, there's no wrong question. Answers are many, but question is most important. Let's keep asking questions. Let's keep asking questions within ourselves every day of our lives till we discover the ultimate answer. The journey has not, the panel discussion has ended, but the journey has just begun. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the panelists for their wisdom and knowledge that they have shared so lovingly. And I would like to thank everyone in the audience for being such heartfelt participants in this beautiful discussion. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.